So, friend of Donald Faison, AJ Styles, has some stuff going on this month.
Yeah.
Not a lot. It's a weirdly quiet month for AJ.
Well, when he's not a champion, this kind of happens.
Yeah, and I guess like the X title program is Daniels at the moment. He's not really hovering around the world title scene. He does come back into the X title program next month, so it's more like a month off. Like he's facing Hiroshi Tanahashi at the pay-per-view.
Ah, what a gimme.
Yeah, it's like what a month off for AJ. He's only wrestling Hiroshi Tanahashi at the pay-per-view.
Only wrestling the president.
Yeah, of the world. I salute you, Mr. President. But yeah, so like they announced that match at some point, and then they also do a little like 40-second feature that has some Tanahashi New Japan footage in it, which is the first time Tanahashi, I guess, would have appeared on US national television. Yeah. So main event of the December 31st episode is James Storm versus AJ Styles. That match leads to Larry Zbyszko making an NWA World Title match because Storm hits AJ with a beer bottle and follows with the super kick for the win. Daniels points out the glass. Storm, however, has a second bottle, which I love, and he's like, "My bottle's fine. That wasn't my bottle. Look, my bottle's right here."
Which again, like James Storm is such a treat as like a shitty heel, man.
And like they don't do that all the time. Like they do just eventually he just hits guys with bottles. But I do appreciate how the first few times he did it, like we were talking about the one where he's like someone from the crowd threw it and it wasn't me, or this one where he used the beer bottle and the ref when Daniels is like, "Look at the glass," Storm is like, "My beer bottle's right here. That wasn't mine." So like there's that thing. It's always like it's a great weapon, but it leaves too much evidence to be credible. And Storm is like, "I've thought about that."
But like I guess like eventually you run out of excuses.
You do, and then you just use it as a weapon.
Unfortunately, it's like cool as hell, so like it doesn't really matter.
It's one of those that I always insist wrestling needs to work on an emotional level, not a logical level, and the beer bottle is fucking awesome, so it works on an emotional level.
Yeah.
So Daniels, despite pointing that out, does not get the decision overturned, but Larry Z comes out and books for later that night because this is the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day split episode. So the match on the New Year's Day episode, I guess the New Year's Night episode, the midnight episode, will be for the NWA World Tag Team titles, America's Most Wanted versus the X Division Dream Team of AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels.
I thought this was gonna own, and it didn't really own.
I really liked it.
It was just like good.
Yeah, because like it was a 30-minute special, so like they obviously like Impact's an hour anyway, but like this was only a 30-minute show, so there's only so much ownage they could own, especially with a lot of Shannon Moore involved, which is way too much Shannon Moore involved this month in general. But I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a good time, and they'll have better matches in 2006. But this was a nice little teaser, and it's like you see Styles and Daniels coming together as a team, and Styles' fucking hot tag is so good. That dude can do anything in wrestling. He is the best wrestler. So Harris hits a catatonic on Styles, but Daniels makes the save. Harris bumps the ref with a clothesline. Styles hits Storm with the clash, but Shannon Moore runs out and drops Styles, allowing Storm to get the pin. So AMW retained the tag titles over Styles and Daniels, but there will be more to come from these two teams next year.
AJ taking 2 L's in a row.
Yeah, he's not a priority this month. He can take falls. The main event of the following week's episode, January 7th, is Austin Aries, Roderick Strong, and Alex Shelley versus AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Chris Sabin.
Should we talk about how we got to this?
Yeah, so there was a segment backstage in which the Ring of Honor staple Generation Next are like, "Hey Larry Z, we ain't booked on the pay-per-view. What the hell, man?"
And Larry Z's like, "Try winning."
Yeah, how about you try and do some shit, huh?
They're just like, you know what? It's fair.
Larry's like, "You were always like, I want. Why don't you go do something about it, huh?"
They're like, "Yeah, we'll do that then."
Then Jerry Lynn walks up and is like, "You guys had a match. Would you stop moaning to Larry?"
Which I'm convinced is just an excuse to like, let's get some Jerry Lynn on TV.
So that does lead us to this match in which the trio of Aries, Strong, and Shelley face Styles, Daniels, and Sabin. And it's a fucking great match for what it is, which is like a 6-minute TV match between these 6 guys. But I do appreciate, I've been giving out about trios matches a lot lately. In that I think too many of AEW trios matches have too long a final stretch where it's like shine, heat, and then 70% of the match is just guys hitting moves, guys hitting moves, guys hitting moves, guys hitting moves. And I think that formula works really well for a 6 to 12 minute trios match and does not work as well for anything longer than like 15 because it just becomes relentlessly guys hitting moves and it becomes a little bit numbing.
You need to have some, like any match, if you're going for a long period of time, you need to have some sort of connective tissue or story being told.
Yeah, because we were talking specifically about what was it? Tanahashi, Okada, and Ishii against, what was the other trio?
Cobb, Okan, and Hanare.
That match for the Never Trios titles in New Japan, where like they built arcs of that match around isolating Ishii. Even after like the comeback segment, they continued to isolate Ishii and keep Tanahashi and Okada on the floor until you had like an awesome moment in that match when Tanahashi and Okada finally got back in and turned the tide, and ultimately that's what led to Ishii winning. And it's like there was an actual arc, an actual story, there was actual like meaningful, distinct segments of the match, and not just guy hits move, guy hits move, guy hits move, standing ovation, guy hits move, guy hits move, guy hits move, applause break. Like that, which is the way like AEW's trios matches can often be structured, and they do become a little bit exhausting. So just to see it condensed down into like the classic 6 to 8 minute trios match, it does feel a little bit refreshing that it's like in and out, it's a lot of action, it's guys like hitting their moves but not in a way that's just like relentless, and then they just go to a finish.
It certainly is refreshing. Different take on the similar thing.
This is where they officially announced that Styles and Tanahashi will face at the pay-per-view. Sabin and Shelley both also, and it's more pronounced, I think, in the pay-per-view match. Actually, Sabin doesn't get the change until the pay-per-view match, but both of them this month get their hair dyed.
Yeah, it's like you guys should just be tag partners at this point.
Yeah, they like the foreshadowing is getting stronger and stronger. It's like you are getting closer and closer to each other.
Do you think they're trying to make like that visual connection? So like they're like pitching it.
Both blonde. Well, Sabin is more like blonde highlights, whereas Shelley is a blonde streak. Both from Detroit, both X Division guys. Hey, put us together. Even Joe gets that like orangey streak through his hair this year.
It is the era of it. We're in 2005.
Yeah, no, we're moving into 06, Liam. That's the reason everyone's like, let's get our hair dyed. It's a new year.
Yeah, we got to get our big 06 feud. Well, when did they first team up?
They first started teaming in sometime in 06 and 01. I think it's like summer of this year is when they start teaming in 01.
So they probably have the idea at this point.
But like even like 01 is just like, let's shove these two guys together. We booked them.
Yeah, but I'm sure like they're like I would be shocked to learn that they weren't like, hey, you think we'd be a cool tag team?
Yeah, these two have run in the same circles, I'd imagine, long enough as two Michigan guys and two BCW trainees. So, like, both of them came from the same school, worked in the same scene long enough that surely it is probably a thought that has crossed their mind. I'm sure there's probably some instances of them teaming on the indies in some capacity.
Would they ever Murder City Machine Guns in TNA?
No, always Motor.
They're always Murder? Interesting.
Strong, Shelley, and Aries are a really great trio. I'm glad that TNA invented it.
Yes.
Where's Jack Evans? Get him in here.
He could be.
He would be perfect. Add him to this act. During this match, Daniels gets dropped, holded into the rail, and then starts selling his concussion, which is a nice touch. Aries is so good, man. Like, it's upsetting.
Do you want to talk about what we've been talking about today?
Yeah, about how like people don't realize Austin Aries is good because he's a bad person.
Yeah.
Just like, get over yourselves. He's a good wrestler.
We are going to be so desperate for his run when we cover 2012.
Aries goes to hit Daniels with a chair, but AJ flies out of nowhere with a dropkick, which kind of rocked. Sabin gets isolated and hit with a gutbuster and a sliced bread for the win. So the not Generation Next backed up their talk as they beat 3 former X Division champions.
It's a big win for them.
It is a big win. So the Go Home Impact to January 14th. Mike Today's in the ring, and he's awarding Mr. TNA to AJ Styles.
I'm shocked.
Winning it for the 3rd year in a row. AJ says that Tanahashi is going to be the first to find out how phenomenal AJ will be in 2006. It turns out that's Shannon Moore, who throws powder in his eyes and steals his award.
Yeah, so Shannon Moore is the canonical Mr. TNA.
Congratulations to Mr. TNA, the Prince of Punk Shannon Moore.
Disgusting.
So there's then a little show running thing where, as mentioned, during the Joe and Cassidy Riley match, AJ chases Moore around ringside trying to get his trophy back, and even during a Jackie Gata pre-tape, they brawl as well, trying to get his trophy back.
They are kind of trying.
There is a story there, which is funny because it builds to not AJ Styles versus Shannon Moore, it's AJ Styles versus Hiroshi Tanahashi at Final Resolution.
Which is fun. Like, it's what a fun little match.
Yeah, Tanahashi comes out to, like, generic Japanese song rather than high energy, which is funny because the TV taping after this, he does an explosion match, which is very funny that Tanahashi's only working explosion for when you have him on TV. It's so weird, that era, where it's like, you know, if Tanahashi's in TNA now, he's doing a big thing on TV. You know, if Ospreay's in TNA, he's doing a Josh Alexander match on TV, you know?
Well, because the people in charge here get it.
They understand the appeal of having Hiroshi Tanahashi there. Whereas back then, it's just like, let's put him against Roderick Strong and Explosion. Or when reigning IWGP champion Shinsuke Nakamura Nakamura is there in 2008. Explosion match against Elix Skipper. It's like, what are you doing? But when he was on Explosion, when Tanahashi was on Explosion, he had high energy there. So I'm like, what happened to the pay-per-view? Where'd high energy go?
They didn't send the MP3.
Not in time, anyway. They're like, we don't want this generic. Even Tana probably came out to the generic song. Is like, what the fuck is this shit? Tana is 29 here, and he is the reigning U30 champion, which is a belt only people under the age of 30 can hold. So Tana's running up against that age limit.
One of us on this show could hold it.
Fuck you. Rude. What do you think of a belt like that?
I think it's a dumb name, and it's inherently got like a cap on it. Although this did main event the Tokyo Dome. I think I would like a title like that which isn't like strictly adhered to, like in its actual rules, but is spiritually the same thing.
Something that is a mid-card belt for the young'un, but is not expressly a mid-card belt for the young'uns.
That is very clearly that, but isn't like explicitly said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never had a problem with it, even though I didn't particularly like love it.
It didn't last very long, did it?
Like I think it was like Nakamura and him basically.
Yeah. For our cool 2 wrestlers under the age of 30.
And then it was unified or just dropped.
I guess part of it also does something you generally don't want to do in wrestling, and that's to draw attention to people's ages. Like, you don't really want people realizing Damian Priest is in his early 40s, you know? No. That's a thing you don't really want. So you can avoid that by having anything that's even linked remotely to age.
But of course, this was settled in the G2.
Okay, sure.
the G2, which is so funny, which Tana did win. And then they did the G2 in 2005, which Tanahashi won.
He is the ace.
He won the G2 twice.
He's the G2. Two.
He's the G2 time winner.
Tana is very young here, so that means he is very good at moving.
Yes, he has his speed and his ability.
Which seems like a hot take, which is like the Tanahashi seemed like one of those guys that was just timeless. One of those guys that the time would never catch, and then this year time caught him. And then it's like, didn't go watch like young Tana, where he has all that explosion and all that energy, and he looks awesome. It's like, oh.
Well, it's like, he has high energy.
Yeah, you only had like 15 years of being the best wrestler of all time. How dare you?
Yeah, go on, please.
You are not eternal? God damn it.
Yeah, they should be eternal.
Like, this match it's nothing special. It's not like the full Hiroshi Tanahashi AJ Styles match you would like. It's like a 3.25 star match. But it's pretty enjoyable for what it is, I think. You would have liked them to go all out. I think it's only 11 minutes and then the finish ends around like Shannon Moore bullshit. So it's not like the full blow away match you would hope.
There wasn't a lot of opportunity
there.
there.
They didn't have the framework, I suppose, for like a full like knockout, drag out match between these two that you eventually got in like 2015. But it's pretty good for what it is. It's a fun little historical note, and it's fun to see Tanahashi in TNA during this era.
And it's like, yeah, and it's fun to see that and then look on and where they would eventually, be competing for the IWGP World Heavyweight title a ton. Well, not the World Heavyweight title, that's a different belt.
Moore runs out and accidentally strikes Tana with the Mr. TNA plaque. Styles drops Moore with the Pele and then beats Tana with the Styles Clash. Tana shows respect to AJ after the match and hands him back his plaque, but then Moore just steals it anyway.
I think, didn't they also do the thing where it's like AJ didn't see the striking with the plaque or whatever?
Yeah, I think AJ had the thing where he just saw Tana was down and hit him with the Styles Clash and won.
Yeah. So like they kept like AJ didn't take advantage of it just to win. Or
yeah, he just ran off more. So then the other thing is the Exhibition Trios match. We missed the Chris Sabin against the Abyss TV match, which I thought was good fun. Those two have good chemistry. Wasn't much happening. Dave Hebner was there again. Abyss goes to swing Sabin into the steps and just skims it at first, and then he's like, "No, I'm gonna fucking kill you."
I wonder what David Hebner's notes on that was.
I would always love to see that. It's like, good tornado DDT from Chris Sabin.
3 3/4 stars.
Dave has a tremendous burn in the Observer about this match. Dave Hebner was watching again, and this time it was noted he was wearing a TNA Impact t-shirt. I wonder if Annie came up missing at the end of the night. Fucking got him. So yeah, we already talked about the setup for the other match. So the Gen Next trio are complaining about opportunities. They did win their TV match, and then they ultimately got a pay-per-view match against Sabin, Sanjay, and Matt Bentley. And it was worse than the TV match, but it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly as strong of a crew.
Yeah, Dawn is once again ogling over Tracy Brooks, because she has her schoolgirl look, which is probably her more iconic look.
No, you say the exact quote.
Dawn is loving Tracy's little schoolgirl look.
Ugh, shiver just went down my spine.
Right. They are very horny for Tracy Brooks at the moment. This is where Shelley and Sabin both had the blonde looks, so it's like just team.
So close yet so far.
Strong cuts off Bentley's super kick with a sick kick, allowing Shelley the chance to roll up Bentley for the win. I appreciated Bentley he saw Strong coming, but I'm still going to go for a super kick. I can get it.
It was fun. It was a good sick kick.
Backstage at the pay-per-view, Matt Bentley and Alex Shelley got into an argument over the finish of their opening six-man tag match. Bentley got so upset that he challenged Shelley to a fight. Austin Aries, the calmest man in the room at all times, was in the middle of trying to calm things down. Alex had an idea for a finish. Shane didn't like it because it would leave egg on his face, but Alex was adamant. Shane overreacted.
Thanks, Aries.
It's an opening six-man tag. Come on, Matt Bentley, calm yourself down.
And also Shelley, it's an opening six-man tag. Maybe be willing to move on the finish.
Yeah, maybe just be willing to hit Matt Bentley with 2 more moves before you win, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe he was mad about the idea that, like, why would I still go for my super kick while I see this guy coming?
Because you think you're that good.
But yes, thank you, Austin Aries, calm man. Rational man, some might say.
The most rational man in the business. That's what Garrett's always said.